the main impediment to weight loss. All of that points to the same thing, fat loss, dramatic fat loss. We see about 20,000 new patients a month in our clinic system nationwide in the US. When you put the body under certain stressful situations, what you see is a panacea of scientific phenomenon that we're only really beginning to understand now. There is no question that it can slow down the aging process. You just look at those three things in the blood and you supplement for those three things, magic will happen in your body.
Meet Gary Brecka, a prominent figure in health optimization, known as the world's #1 expert in biohacking and human performance. Gary previously worked in the life insurance industry, where he analyzed medical records and lifestyle data to predict life expectancy with remarkable accuracy. Today, he is the co-founder of 10X Health Systems and the Health Services Director for the NFL. His passion lies in demystifying complex health concepts and empowering people to take control of their wellness journey for a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life. Stick around to the end of this video because Gary Brecka explains several methods for fat loss, nutrient supplementation, hormone optimization for a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life. The last method he mentions just might surprise you.
When you put the body under certain stressful situations, fasting, for example, cold water immersion, what you see is a panacea of scientific phenomenon that are really fascinating, that we're only really beginning to understand now. And so when you start to link the fact that you have muscles contracting, you raise your metabolic rate, you increase dopamine and endorphins, which elevate your mood, you improve your circulation, you improve your insulin sensitivity, which means you are less insulin resistant, the main impediment to weight loss. All of that points to the same thing, fat loss. And we see the same thing. We see about 20,000 new patients a month in our clinic system nationwide in the US. And we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of patients that are ice bathing on a normal basis. And the ones that are doing ice bathing on a normal basis, for the vast majority of them report the same thing, dramatic fat loss. And look, ice baths don't have to be expensive. Plunge has one that I think is $120 inflatable. You put ice in it and it lasts about 4 or 5 days at a time. Later, if you want to upgrade, you can add a motor, right? It has the inlets for a motor. I created an ice bath here at the Edition Hotel when I got here. They brought me up these big English ice cubes. They got big ice cubes here in England. They bought me these big English ice cubes and I put them over the bottom of the tub and just filled it up with cool water. 4 days later, it's still an ice bath. We'd have to convert this to Celsius, but there's very little, if any, evidence at all that colder is better or longer is better. You see, like a lot of biohacking techniques, more is not necessarily better. We're not trying to become cold adaptive. You're trying to cold shock the body. And there's no evidence that I have seen that colder is better or longer is better. 48 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll convert that to Celsius.
So that's about 10 degrees Celsius, I think.
Okay, so 10 degrees Celsius. 10, yeah. We'll have to ask Siri. 10 degrees Celsius, 3 minutes minimum, 6 minutes maximum. That's it. As you make the temperature colder and you stay in longer, you're becoming adaptive. You're not cold shocking the body, you're cold adapting the body. And you also have to remember that, our brain is only this far in the surface of our skull. It's not good to freeze it and it's not good to bake it. So I see guys that are getting in, again, Fahrenheit, 220 degree saunas for 40, 60, 90 minutes. I go, that's insane.
Cold exposure, such as ice baths or cold showers, activates brown fat, a type of fat that burns calories to generate heat. This can boost metabolism and aid in weight loss. It also reduces inflammation, improves circulation, and enhances recovery by constricting blood vessels and flushing out waste products. Cold exposure can increase mental clarity and resilience by releasing mood-boosting neurotransmitters like norepinephrine. Hot exposure, such as saunas or hot baths, promotes detoxification through sweating and improves cardiovascular health by increasing heart rate and blood flow. It can also support weight loss by boosting metabolic rate and mimicking the effects of moderate exercise. Heat exposure stimulates the production of heat shock proteins, which repair damaged cells, reduce inflammation, and enhance longevity. Alternating between cold and hot exposure, contrast therapy amplifies these benefits, improving circulation, reducing stress, and accelerating fat burning while supporting overall health and recovery.
There's an amazing Netflix special called The Iceman. And you can see all the science behind it. But he was able to actually regulate his body temperature by regulating the oxygen tension in the tissue. There is no question that it can slow down the aging process. Remember that aging is two things. Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort, and it is a reduction in, it is increasingly becoming more hypoxic. Remember, the end destination is hypoxia. You are dead when you can no longer sustain enough oxygen to the brain to sustain brain activity. Okay, the question is, how fast are you getting there? Other little things like a contrast shower, forget a cold plunge, and just at the end of your shower, take your warm shower, lather up, do your thing, step out of the shower, turn it as cold as it will go, and then step into that stream and just deal with it. Deal with it for 30 seconds to a minute, right? And then you will be hormetically strengthened when you get out of there. Dry off and start your day. Hydrate with mineral waters. I think that the majority of people, especially high performance, are missing one of the three basics. It's the absence of the basics that causes the deprivation of performance. I have no supposition here other than to tell you what years of research has led me to find out. And the third is the amino acid supplement. I take something called Perfect Aminos, which is the 8 essential amino acids, and it won't even break a fast. You can take a scoop of this and put it in water. Your body will have all 8 of the essential amino acids it needs, and it won't even break your fast in the morning. If you're working out in a fasted state, you have to take that. So what's going on is as we age, our metabolism begins to drop, and so this is why I think you need to get data on your bodies, right? Because it's very hard to take action or give advice without data. And the problem is that there's such a myriad of opinions out there. I never give even my opinion without data. I'm a huge fan of data. So I think every human being should do 2 tests. Number one, you should do what's called a genetic methylation test. I know it sounds complicated, but it's very easy. It's usually done by cheek swab. You send it into a lab, they look at 5 genes, and these 5 genes will tell you exactly what your body can convert into the usable form and what it can't. Once you know that, for example, let's say that you cannot convert, you have the most common gene mutation in the world, which is called MTHFR. The MTHFR gene mutation, one of the most prevalent gene mutations in the world, disallows somebody from converting folic acid into methylfolate. Now, this doesn't sound like a big deal, right? Until you realize that folic acid is the most prevalent nutrient in the human diet. So now you can't convert the most prevalent nutrient in the human diet into the most necessary raw material, one of the most necessary raw materials in the human body, methylfolate. The reason why you do this test is you do it once in your life, and you will never, for the rest of your life, ever guess on what your body's deficient in. It will tell you exactly what you can't produce, and you simply supplement for that deficiency, right? So now you're supplementing for deficiency, not the sake of supplementing.
Supplementing for nutrient deficiencies involves using vitamins, minerals, or other dietary supplements to address gaps in your nutrition that can occur due to poor diet, health conditions, or lifestyle factors. When your body lacks essential nutrients like vitamin D, magnesium, or iron, it can lead to fatigue, weakened immunity, poor focus, and other health issues.
And then the other thing that you do is you look at 3 things in your blood work. You look at your what's called glycemic control. I would almost guarantee that this is related to a decrease in free testosterone and an increase in your estrogen ratio. Right. Men and women both have estrogen and testosterone. It is more important to maintain a certain ratio than it is to maintain a certain level, right? The ratio of hormones to one another is more important than their levels. 70% of the time, when you have hormone disruption, you do not need hormone therapy. You need nutrients. The majority of men and women are deficient in testosterone, for example, because they're deficient in the raw material DHEA, and they're also deficient in D3. So when you get information on your body, you look at your hormone balance, your glycemic control, your blood sugar profile, and your nutrient deficiencies. You just look at those 3 things in the blood and you supplement for those 3 things, magic will happen in your body.
Balancing your hormone ratios is essential for maintaining overall health, as hormones regulate nearly every bodily function, including metabolism, energy levels, mood, and reproduction. When hormone levels are imbalanced, such as too much cortisol or too little thyroid hormone, it can lead to issues like fatigue, weight gain, mood swings, poor sleep, and even chronic conditions. Proper hormone balance supports optimal bodily functions, enhances mental clarity, boosts physical performance, and promotes long-term health.
It's so important that if you don't get sleep right, nothing else really matters, right? It is our human superpower. And I believe that sleep is the first thing to be compromised, meaning we schedule meetings and travel before we schedule sleep and exercise. I mean, one of the things we were talking about before we got here was, one of my favorite things to do is sometimes I'll go on these really, really busy, aggressive trips where I'll do 9 cities in 11 days. And they're on opposite sides of the world, right? I'll go to Saudi Arabia, and I'll go to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, then I'll fly to New York, I'll catch a connection in New York, and then I'll go speak in Salt Lake, and then I'll go to Denver, and then finally make my way back to Miami. So multiple time zones, multiple countries, multiple flights, multiple hotels, and I'll post a sleep score every night, from my Whoop, and show how you can still get 97 to 100% sleep scores, even though you're changing time zones.
Even with jet lag and everything else?
No.
Because you don't get jet lag? Because
I have a sleep routine, and that's what most people lack, I think.
Sleep is foundational to optimal health and weight loss because it allows the body to recover, repair, and regulate essential functions. During sleep, hormones like growth hormone and melatonin support cellular repair, while cortisol levels drop to reduce stress. Quality sleep also regulates appetite-controlling hormones, ghrelin and leptin, helping to prevent overeating and cravings. Lack of sleep disrupts these processes, leading to increased hunger, slower metabolism, and impaired decision-making, making it harder to stick to healthy habits. Sleep enhances muscle recovery and energy levels, improving physical performance and fat burning. Prioritizing consistent, restful sleep is key to achieving and maintaining overall health and effective weight loss.